Standoff over Russia's potential invasion of Ukraine after the first day of diplomatic talks. The United States and Russia meeting in Geneva today. Talks lasted nearly 8 hours, but officials say they didn't make any breakthroughs. Russian officials say they have no plans to invade Ukraine, but they've been building up their military on the shared border. Of course, that buildup has Ukraine and its allies on edge, the country preparing its own troops for a potential invasion. In a moment, we'll have a report from NBC's Richard Engel in eastern Ukraine. But first, CNBC's senior White House correspondent Kayla Tausche on those diplomatic talks. Kayla?
Shep, in the first of 3 rounds of critical talks this week, the top U.S. diplomat says there's still a long way to go. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman said the U.S. had proposed relocating missile systems and limiting military exercises, but the U.S. was unwavering in its position that NATO gets to decide the process for NATO membership, and no one goes through that process. No country should have a veto or make decisions for others about their future. The U.S. also adamant that Moscow, purposely putting the world on alert by amassing troops at Ukraine's border, must draw them down to signal its seriousness.
It took movement to get to this buildup. What we would like to see is for troops to return to their permanent staging grounds, their permanent bases. What we have called for is a return to their barracks. And if we see a return to their barracks, that is an indication of de-escalation.
Russia's deputy foreign minister says the Kremlin needs more flexibility from the West as Vladimir Putin continues to demand a legal guarantee NATO won't expand and taking his troops to the brink of war to secure it. Former ambassador to Ukraine Bill Taylor says it's a tactic by Mr. Putin meant to intimidate the Ukraine, the U.S., and NATO.
If he can accomplish his goals without an invasion, he'd probably be very pleased with that.
Tomorrow, Deputy Secretary Sherman will brief her NATO counterparts before they sit down with Russian negotiators for the first time in 3 years. On Thursday, the Permanent Council of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe will meet to discuss Ukraine. Experts say so long as Russia stays at the table, it's a good sign.
I think the most, by way of deliverables, that we could get is a clear commitment to keep talking after this week. That would be a major success.
Russian negotiators said if talks failed, there'd be a military outcome. Shep?
Kayla Tausche, thank you.